Well, we're getting relatively close to the start of the football season, and the media is still not really liking West Virginia Mountaineers, and that includes the West Virginia media. Particularly, I've been seeing a number of stories asking, where do we have to be worried? What's the biggest concern? And it's a legitimate question, but all these stories end up leaving you, or at least leaving me, feeling like it really is a problem. Not a question, but a problem. Now, it was really the same thing last year. Everything they looked at, well, these were the things that need to happen for West Virginia to have a good season, and they assumed none of them were going to happen. Most of them did happen, and West Virginia had a good season. Uh, and and I mean, these stories don't take a stand. And I understand the idea of objective journalism, but dang it, you gotta say something. Don't just list a bunch of things and no no real substance. And it's okay to have an opinion when you're reporting sports. Yeah, I think you should try to back it up, but it's okay to have an opinion. Now, so I'm going to do a series, or potentially a series, called Reasonable Doubt. And before I start that, I do want to say uh, this is West Virginia football going deep. I'm Forrest Poston. I am shaggy, hot, scruffy, and grumpy, but I'm here. Uh, and please share, subscribe, make comments, click the thumbs up, click the notification bell, and tell your friends. Now, reasonable doubt. Starting with the offensive line, and this will be a series depending partly on how I feel and partly on how people respond to this video. If it goes in the toilet, I may not do another one. We'll see. Now, of course, the big thing people keep saying, well, we lost Frazier and Nestor. Yeah, we did. We can't replace Frazier. No, we can't. But that doesn't mean we aren't going to have a good line. We're going to look at some of the numbers from PFF. And, I'm not that fond of numbers as a sole basis for things, but don't really have a whole lot more to go on because I don't have access to how the coaches graded each player. And I'm not qualified to go back and watch the film and grade each player. But there are some things besides the numbers, and the big one involves Brandon Yates. Now, Yates does not block as well as Frazier. That's just the way things are. Now, his pass blocking was above average, and pretty much right down the line, the pass blocking graded out higher than the run blocking. The run blocking was only fair to good, but that was good enough under the circumstances. But the thing you gotta remember with Yates, go back to the Baylor game and Frazier's historic, crawl hop off the field in order to save a timeout during the, do or die drive. It was a great play. But it would have been completely meaningless unless Yates had the presence of mind to get his butt down the line on the field into the huddle just as fast. And as far as I know, he didn't wait for the coaches to tell him what to do. He knew what to do. For one thing, they work on situations like this. But he got both his body and his head into the game fast enough to prevent calling a timeout. And he did not miss a beat. Good snaps, good calls, good blocking. And this was under about as much pressure as you can get. Middle of a drive to win or lose. And he performed. And you know his teammates trust him. There is a question of chemistry, but dang it, Yates he's been in the line at almost every position for years. And he's played center, and he's played it in the game. And that drive alone had to solidify the chemistry just because of the added pressure. So whatever Yates does this year, remember him for that moment and that drive as much as you remember Frazier. You know, it was not a one-man show. And that's the thing. It is a team game. One star doesn't cut it. You know, the line is a unit. The offense is a unit. The team is a team. All right. Now, you know, if you look at the numbers, well, first of all, of course, Milam actually graded out highest on average, barely ahead of Frazier. So we are getting our number one graded lineman back. Malone graded out above average. Rimac graded out slightly above average. So we have 3 guys out of 5 right there whose overall grade was above average. That's a good, solid start. And of course, you are hoping that every one of those guys will be better this year than last year. That's the way it's supposed to be if you work, and these guys work. That's the culture now. They work. They work to get better. They don't work to be good. They work to get better. Now, okay, yes, Hubbard and Yates graded out kind of average-ish, tad below where you want your guys to be. I meant to look up where they finished in terms of, you know, all of the guards in you know, the league, but forgot to. Will live. But also, you know, looking again, pass blocking, every guy, every one of the guys played last year, and the 5 who will be expected to start this year, graded out well above average on pass blocking. So we should be able to pass the ball pretty much just as well or better, because I expect the receivers and Green to be better. And the line should be pretty much as good, at least, as they were last year in pass blocking. There's not a great deal of drop-off, even if these guys only play as well as they did last year and don't get better. And, you know, looking at sacks, hits, hurries, pressures, there weren't that many. Yates had the most, okay. And we'll probably have to, you know, give Yates some help. Didn't have to do that with Frazier last year, which is uncommon. And there were 2 or 3 games where I think we should have given Frazier some help. I think giving Frazier a little help in the Houston game would have won the game. But I actually haven't gone back and analyzed the film, so, you know, that's just an idea I have. But we will be playing a more common game, helping out the center because the center has to snap then block. That shouldn't be any big deal. And I don't know. In some ways, we may end up being better off by not having too high an expectation from the center. I think maybe we did ask Frazier to do a little more than what he could at times. But if you look at the efficiency numbers, which involves the pass blocking, the hurries, especially sacks, the lowest efficiency grade was 97.9. Now that was Yates, but 97.9. And it's because he gave up a sack. Now, of course, part of that's Garrett Green. He gets out of the way. But there is a limit to how much a mobile quarterback can do unless the line is mostly good. If you're letting guys leak through all over the place, there's nowhere for a mobile quarterback to go but down. But the line should be good. Now, here is the kicker to this. The backups for this year will be better than last year, better than the year before, better than the year before that, better than the year before that. This last year might be the best line, since Brown took over. He didn't have much to work with and eventually had to go very young. But this will be, if not the best line, it'll be the second best starting line. But if you look at the 2 deep, even the 3 deep, this is the best room since Rodriguez's last year. Well, no, that's not true. The room wasn't good. The starting line was great for Rodriguez. The room sucked because he had no, experienced guys after that. Now, behind our starters, and we've got 4 of the 5 starters are graduating after 2024. So, very experienced line, losing more than you want to at one time. But backups, we've got Williams as a redshirt freshman who was good enough to play some as a freshman. Bosley is a sophomore, and he could take over. He may be the starter by the end of the season if he adapts fast enough. Cray, redshirt freshman. Weedman, redshirt sophomore. Biggs, non-scholarship, but played a lot. Redshirt junior. Young, redshirt freshman. Livingston, redshirt sophomore. Hamilton, redshirt sophomore. And these guys are going to be around for a while. They are already very good. Most of them have gotten reps, 20 to 40, games, or snaps, not games. Excuse me. Yeah, 40 games and big deal. All right. But this means we can rotate this year. We can keep the line fresher. If somebody goes down, we don't have to depend on just one guy, Malone, to fill in. If a tackle goes down, we can replace him with a tackle. A guard goes down, we can replace him with a guard. Not just a utility, replacement. And Hubbard has never quite fulfilled what should be his potential. Maybe this is going to be the year he does. If he doesn't, we have guys behind him with the potential to move ahead of him during the season, or to at least be his equal. Not as much experience, but talent and size. That is, I think, the big difference this year. Good starting line, very good backups. We haven't had that. We had guys who were almost ready last year. They played a few snaps at the end of games, but they weren't ready. This year's different. Do I think there is a reasonable doubt that the line will be good? No, I don't. Is there an unreasonable doubt? Well, there's always doubt, especially if you're paranoid like I am. But I think there is every reason to expect this line to be above average and to not have drop-offs when there are injuries. And going back to the bit with the Houston game, it was injuries in the previous game that hurt on both offense and defense, as well as, I think, not coming in mentally sharp, some of which was a reaction to some of the injuries. But we did not have the ability to just next man up and keep going. And we have that this year. I really think we have that this year. All right. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the idea of a series. Is there reasonable doubt in different rooms, different positions, and why? I'll talk to you guys later. We do have recruiting news coming up. We have guys scheduled to announce their commitments on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 4th, 5th, and 6th of this month, something like that. And one guy who has not set an announcement date. Right now, we may not get any of these guys who are left. We may get 1 or 2 or 3, but we'll be okay. We're not in any critical need. We can be patient. And if need be, go to the portal with no harm. We are in good shape with recruiting. Wanted to get a little bit more. For one thing, it's exciting to have guys commit. And I mean, we've also got action going on for 2026 since Brody McWhorter committed. He's trying to get his cousin to come here. Scotty Fox is on X trying to convince some of the current guys to commit for 2025. So it is still fun to watch. And the season is getting close. Yeah. All right. So that's it for today, or at least for this video. I actually do have another video in mind talking about recruiting and ranking numbers and why there's a difference between recruiting numbers and recruiting players. Okay, guys. I've been trying to say so long for about a minute now, so so long, and I'll talk to you some other time.